Hello. There's a lot of things going on politically, economically, socially, nationally, globally. We're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with issues that has been unsolved, unresolved for centuries that keep popping their head up and need to be dealt with. There's so much level of frustration. People have been cooped up in their house for so long. Things that have been happening in our society that should have been handled have never been handled. Our policies, our positions, our view, so many things are coming to the forefront. And people are shouting because of the injustice of things happening that has been happening. Enough is enough. People are tired. Anxiety, stress, just a level of frustration where people said, I'm not taking it anymore, any longer. I won't put up with it. I watched a video the other day where a hen and a snake came into the coop, and the hen was fighting against the snake from killing its children. Even the weakest thing will fight back against a bully. When someone's agitating you, aggravating you, picking on you, sooner or later, something is going to revolt. Something is going to force you to fight back. They said, enough is enough. I'm not going to take it from you any longer. It is the slogan where we said, give me liberty or give me death. I've just had enough. I can't take another single moment. It's the straw that breaks the camel's back. The weight of the pressure that has been going on, that you're deciding that you won't change. I'm going to force a change. We reach a point where it cannot be as usual and normal. I want to show you something from the Bible in the book of Exodus when Moses goes up with an experience with God. You know, the mountaintop experience. Moses was always ready to move with God and go speak to God. Alone time, a refreshing time, a rebuilding time. The time where Moses seen the glory of God. He seen the goodness of God, the mercy, the hand of God, the sovereignty of God. Moses know he gets revelation from God. He gets guidance from God. He gets instruction from God for him to help deal with the people and the things that God wanted to do. And Moses was climbing up for an experience once again with God. And while he was on his way out and he got there, he noticed that the angel stood afar off and the demeanor of God had changed. And it was not a friendly entrance. It seemed to be a boiling point. God was upset. He was wroth. He was mad. He was angry. Moses approached him and said, what is wrong, Lord? And God said, Moses, the people that you have brought out of Egypt, I am going to destroy these people, these stiff-necked people. I'm going to destroy them. I had enough. I'm done. I can't go on. I don't want to deal with them. The God of mercy had reached a boiling point where he said, enough is enough. Not dealing with them anymore. Even God can be frustrated. Even love has a point. Even mercy has a point where grace cannot intervene. Enough is enough. I'm done with this. Moses didn't know what to say, what to do. He said, but Lord, he said, these stiff-necked people. Now, it's not unusual for God to destroy because he is the maker of heaven and earth, and all things that was created by him. But he has reached a tipping point that he didn't want to deal. It was not like before when Noah was there and God said, I'm going to destroy them because the hearts of men, the very inclination of their hearts were evil. God does not like evil. And so shouldn't we. For evil is an enemy of God. It is opposing to his laws. It is opposing to his view. And wherever there is evil, we should try to snuff it out. That's why the Bible said only for a few to stay silent and for evil to prevail. And I know oftentimes people try to say that, there is that, and all the justification, all the reason. But whenever there's evil, God said that is an enemy that I must completely destroy. And he'll put up with no evil. But Moses thought he can use Abraham's argument and say, well, wait a minute, God. Like Abraham did unto God, and said, but if there's only but a few righteousness, God, will you destroy the whole time? And God was looking at Abraham counter progress his movement, and Abraham can bring it down. But if there's only but a few righteousness, maybe 10, maybe 5, God, and God would say, this is not a matter of righteousness, but Abraham can say, but if there's only a few good ones, will you destroy the whole system? And God said, whenever there is injustice, there is no good. There is no good when people look out the way of injustice, because he's not talking about good and bad. He's talking about injustice, which brings forth evil. Good and bad might be an attitude, might be a way, but injustice is a criminality against humanity. And God said he will not tolerate that. And so shouldn't we. And so if the good stays quiet as they did, God said, I'll reduce what you asked me, Abraham, but there is none that is good when it is an injustice cause. So what do you do when the whole system is injustice? And those are crying, but there's some good. There is no good when it's an injustice. None whatsoever. The God of mercy was so frustrated. He reached a point, enough is enough. Something's got to change. The only truth that I find in this particular matter, that even Moses had to get God to a point that God could consider part of pardoning these people and forgiving them. Listen to what God said. God says that I have regret that I have made these people. At that one moment, I have regret that I have made these people, these stiff-necked people, these people who won't change their views, their ways, these people whose ideology are opposed to truth. Oftentimes people say for God and for country, but yet they do not know the God of the Bible that they preach. For the God of the Bible does not promote injustice. Maybe for party and country, but not for God. And so, God says, I regret I made these people. And that one slimmer, Lucifer in hell, sheds a tear and said, of all the wrongdoings that I did, God never said he regretted me. But for humanity, these type of people, these injustice, these lawlessness people that promote righteousness as their law, as if they are good. The Pharisees thought they were good. The Sadducees thought they were good, and then nailed the truth to the cross. You aren't good if you are unjust. This ain't a matter of right and wrong or good or bad. This is injustice. And justice needs to be served. So long justice have been kept quiet, have been raped, have been burglarized, have been wrapped up, kidnapped, and been blinded. But enough is enough. The only thing Moses says and sees that can be a resolvement for the issue is that Moses said, well, if you're going to destroy them after pleading for them, destroy me. Moses sees another view that I understand what you're saying, God. It can't be of our ideals, because Moses was safe. Moses wasn't in the bunch that God was going to destroy. But he said, I love my neighbor enough to lay down my life for them. See, if you stay quiet, you promote evil. We're not talking about morality. We're talking about injustice. It is a criminal act toward humanity. The only thing that cures it, if you can see yourself and put yourself in the position of the other that is being destroyed. See, this is the commandment of God. Love thy God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and love thy neighbor as you love yourself. For if you can't love your neighbor as you see love, you are not a godless, you are not a godly, fearing nation. You are a godless nation that promotes your righteousness, and that is an injustice. For there is none that is righteous but the Lord. Love is the only thing that can conquer. Some say, while the rioting, because there was no listening of the marching. While the marching, but there was no listening of the crying, of the conversation. Even Gandhi said there's a place that even violet has reigned. There's a place that we can't talk no more. Why the looting? The same reason that God was going to kill them. For your ideology means nothing when there is injustice. Unless you can put yourself in the other person's position and see that, the suffering, the cause, and lay down your life, you are as much as the problem. It is upon that note that God said, Moses, you understand. And I won't destroy them. I'll put myself in their shoe, and you put yourself in their shoe. And so Christ puts himself in our shoe, who he was safe, but yet he died on the cross and went to hell for redemption for us. See, if you can't love your neighbor, that is an injustice to heaven.